Hey there internets, I'm Michael and this is Toucan Play That Game with a review of Battle of the Bands, as you can see, by Original Content London. So, what is it? Well, let's take a look at the box. We have a band. We have a band. So yeah, it's about a band. Okay, so what the game actually is a negotiation game. And the way it all works is that you have different suits of cards. And in order to successfully go on tour and therefore reap the rewards of doing so, you have to play one of each card. So you've got your hype, your chops, your riffs, and your gear. And so you need all of these cards, but you don't need to have them yourself. You can get help from other bands. You can get them to help you out in your tour. And then they get a share of the spoils. And that's where the negotiation all comes in. Because the more you do go on tour and help in other tours, the more cards you get, the more you can do, the higher levels you can reach, and the greater the spoils. So the game kind of escalates like that as you help each other. And so it does rely very heavily on that negotiation. So why don't we take it to the table for a game? If I can find the board anywhere. Where's the board gone? Okay, if I ever find the board, then we'll take it to the table. The first thing that might be a bit confusing about this game is this board here. Because it's a t-shirt, it's an actual wearable t-shirt, you'll have to take it out of the box and set it up to be your game board. Once you've done this, on the left hand side you'll have your career deck, and then on the right hand side you'll have your fan deck. Then each player will choose one of the badges to represent their band. So we've got the music note here and the little flame there. Then each player also gets given 2 passion cards, which act as wilds with regards to suit of hype, chops, riffs, gear or fan, and have a value of 1. So with these career cards, the number on them represents how many spoils you get. So if you've got a free inner space, that'll generate free spoils of the type that that space generates. So if they're clear like this, then they generate fans. If it's blue, then they generate a career card for each number. So there are ones that have no number, so they'll complete a line, but they won't generate any spoils. Then once each player has their starting card, the way they take turns is they can either stay at home and practice, meaning they get to draw a career card and add it to their hand, or they can go on tour. But for now, let's just say that they're staying at home, they're practicing, picking up cards, and then it gets round to this guy's go again, and he goes, right, I'm going to go on tour. But he doesn't quite have what he needs to go on tour. To go on tour, you have to be able to complete at least the first level. Ideally, you want to complete more levels, but in order to complete the higher levels, you also have to complete the below levels. So he's going to go on tour, he's going to use his 2 chops here, and he's got 1 gear, and he hasn't got any of the others, so he's going to go, hey guys, help me out here, come on, who can help me? Come on, give me some cards, who can help this? And the other player's going to look at his cards and he's going to go, well, I have got stuff I could use, but you know, it's not really in my favour to do so. So they'll barter and they'll haggle, and you can bid stuff, you can trade favours, etc. But in the end, they have to decide whether they're going to put the cards in. So let's say they do, and they're going to go with, okay, well I'll put that in and I'll put that in. But I want to keep my hype card, so I want to place my badge on the hype, because each player has to place their badge on one of the cards. And the player who starts like, well, okay, I mean, I don't mind too much, but this dictates who gets to pick the spoils first. So if you're in the red column, you pick first, yellow second, etc. So the spoils we get, well, we get no fans because hype had 0, but we get 4 career cards. So we just turn over 4 career cards. Then the person whose turn it actually is gets to pick the first card. They're going to go, well, I'll take one of these cards here. Then we move on to the badges. So it'd be this player's. And you'll go, okay, well, I'll take that. And then the next guy goes, okay, well, I'll take that and take that. Until all the spoils are done, then people take the cards that had their badges on. So he gets that one back and he gets that one back. The rest get discarded. If at any point you had fans come up in the spoils, so let's say we now do another one and we don't have any means to get fans in the spoils except for you can use a wild. So we're going to go like that and then that, and look, he's doing a full tour on his own. And the card he's going to choose to keep is this Free Rifts one. So he now gets all of that because he's done it on his own. So he gets one fan card and 3 rift cards and one for the gear. So all of those go into his hand. If he has more than 7 cards, he now needs to discard cards. And of course, he also gets to keep that card. And then these go away. So now he's got a fan card. He has the opportunity to play this down in front of him to go, look, I've got some points, or keep it in his hand. So you'd keep it in your hand because you do need fan cards for the level 2s, level 3s and level 4s. But as you can see, he's got too many cards in hand. He's got 8 cards in hand. So he needs to get rid of a card. And he doesn't really want to discard anything. So he's going to get rid of this 1-point fan so that he doesn't have to lose any cards. And you keep going like this until one player has 27 points worth of fans, and these fan cards range from 1 to 4. At that point, they are the best band. So that is Battle of the Bands. Well, what do I think? Well, let's start with components, because I found the board. I was wearing it. It's a t-shirt. So this does feel kind of gimmicky, the whole t-shirt being a board, but it also feels very thematic because bands have t-shirts. You know, you get t-shirts of bands. It feels very, you go to a concert, you get the t-shirt. That adds to the thematicness to it. How does it work practically? Well, a playmat is very useful for this, to be able to see the different lines you need to fill in. And it's definitely more interesting than having a board. However, one problem I have is that t-shirts get wrinkles, and you get a wrinkle on one side and it can be a bit fiddly. You've got a lot of wasted space with the sleeves on the table. But otherwise, yeah, it works surprisingly well. I was actually kind of pleased with it. You wouldn't actually end up wearing it. You could just have a t-shirt shaped one. Yeah, I'm kind of ambivalent about it in the end. It's a good idea. It's definitely different. So that's having a t-shirt as a board. What about the other components? Well, again, player pieces that are badges. These are proper wearable badges. Not sure what to make of it. It adds to that theme, you know, people who go to concerts and stuff, they have these badges, they collect these badges, and so that keys in really nicely to people who are going to like this game. So I think it is a good thing. It just doesn't particularly appeal to me. And then, of course, the final component is the cards. They're perfectly fine cards. They're not particularly good quality, but they're not bad. And that's kind of all I can really say on there. What about artwork? Well, we start with the box. This kind of gives you the perfect feel for the artwork in this game. You've got this pixelated kind of feel here with the people, and then that is what you see on all these cards. Now, the cards are very interesting with the different combinations, the different things you have, all the different images you have, you know, all your fans are looking different. They've put a lot of effort into this artwork. The style of it doesn't particularly feel like it appeals to me, really. I kind of look at it, it's like, okay, it doesn't look great. But it does feel, again, thematic. And that's what they've done with this game. They have created this thematic experience. So what about the gameplay then? Does the gameplay feel thematic? Well, it can be as thematic as you allow it to be. If you know, you talk and joke about the combination of cards, you've got like this rocker with this classical pianist or whatever, you know, those sort of things, then that brings you to the thematicness. The things that these starting out bands have to do to try and make it kind of keys into that, and you will enjoy that. If you're not interested in that, you can just ignore it. So what do I really think then? Well, the game all really does hinge on that negotiation. It is a very luck-heavy game, and the only way to really mitigate that luck is with the negotiation and being able to negotiate well. And my social skills, including negotiation and things like that, are not very good, and therefore I do really badly at this game. And there's not a lot I can do to really improve that. I can try and practice my social skills, but I've been practicing that for 30 odd years and I ain't improved yet. So I'm unlikely to. And unfortunately that means that I don't enjoy this game. This is a game that people who are socially outgoing will probably really enjoy. They'll enjoy that negotiation. People like me who are very introverted struggle in social situations and social communication are going to find this game very difficult and very unsatisfying because someone's there and they picked up a card practicing at home and it's a 4 of hype. Now they're just raking in fans and you're sat there going, still don't have the cards to complete a tour and no one's willing to help me. And so that's kind of my experience of this game. It is very luck heavy in the cards that you get. Also, you know, the start of the game, people tend to just build up for quite a few rounds. So it feels like it could do with having a few more starter cards. You do get these passions, which is an interesting way of starting the game. I don't like the whole choose who goes first by who tells the best story thing, because again, that just becomes a popularity contest, and you know what? I'm not popular. So that kind of thing just really doesn't appeal, and I feel it could use a few more starter cards. I wouldn't say a full hand of cards, although a lot of people end up just drawing until they get a full hand, because a full hand of cards would be too many. People sometimes quit earlier and start getting help earlier. It all depends on the people you're playing with. And that's the thing with these kind of social interaction reliant games. It does really come down to who you're playing with this game. People playing with me will probably not enjoy the game as much as people playing with someone who's very socially outgoing. And so that's kind of my thoughts on this. It's definitely not a game for me. I don't think it's a bad game by any means. It's just that it relies on social interaction, and that's not what appeals to me. If you like social interaction, you may well enjoy this game. Now, of course, this is two can play that game, so we really should talk about how does this work as a two-player game. And with any social interaction game, the more people you have, the more social interaction there is, and therefore the better the game. And this has the same. If you're playing with a better group, you will have a more enjoyable experience. There's more people to negotiate with, you can get teams and alliances going. If it's just two people, if one person's doing better, they're not going to help the other person. There's no real negotiation there. It just falls really flat and just fails as a two-player game, in my opinion. Okay, so that is my thoughts on Battle of the Bands by Original Content London. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please do check out the rest of the videos on the channel, as well as subscribing to the channel and sharing it with your friends and family. And do also take a look at us on social media. You can find us on Facebook and on Twitter. And as always, thanks for watching, and bye for now.